Hi there guys, my name's KirbyViper93, but you can call me KB if you like. Welcome to my next project, Let's Play Final Fantasy I Dawn of Souls. I must admit that I'm a bit apprehensive for this project because I'm not the biggest RPG player and I'm not the most familiar with Final Fantasy. So I'm definitely going to need your guys' help to sort of guide me through this. You think you can do that for me? No, I shouldn't even have to ask. I know you guys will help me out. You're cool. So, I guess first of all, I'm just going to go ahead and explain the classes as best as I can. The warriors are your basic damage dealing type. They can use the widest array of weapons and armor, as it says at the bottom there. So it's definitely best to have at least one of those with you. Thieves are good for hitting fast, but not necessarily for hitting hard or taking hits. They're mainly good for running away until you hit the class change, although they're not nearly as useless in this version of the game as they are in the original. Monks are good for hitting without weapons, and they are mostly pretty durable. However, obviously they can't really use any of the weapons or armor, so if you intend to sell a lot of things, then, you know, it's probably a good idea to have one of these. White mages are good mostly for healing and support spells, not to mention a lot of fighting against the undead, and it's almost entirely recommended that you have one of these, if only to keep everybody else alive. Black mages are good for a lot of attacking spells and other support spells of more of an offensive support than the white mage, who's mainly defensive. So it's definitely a good idea to have one of these as well, though it's personal preference really. And red mages are the most versatile of all the classes. They can use white magic, black magic, and a large variety of the weapons and spells. However, their defense is moderate and their HP is pretty low, basically, so there's sort of a trade-off there. I'm actually going to switch out the Thief in the second slot for a red mage just because I like having all of the magic, or as much of it as I can. So let's go ahead and name all these guys up. We have our warrior, Paper, named after Paper Napkin, who's finishing up his Final Fantasy I Let's Play pretty quickly here. We have Randall, our red mage, named after Ringtail Randall, who's a pretty big RPG fanatic himself. We have our white mage, Jeffer, who I've heard recently finished playing Final Fantasy I on his phone. And then, of course, there's me, the black mage, who's mainly just along for the ride. So, yeah, I think that party looks pretty good. Let's go ahead and get started here. Yeah, let's see what the intro has to say for us. The world lies shrouded in darkness. The winds die. The seas rage. The earth decays. But the people believe in a prophecy, patiently awaiting its fulfillment. When darkness veils the world, 4 warriors of light shall come. After a long journey, 4 young travelers did at last appear. And in the hand of each was clutched a crystal. And then it just jumps you right to the world map. So as you can see, this is sort of the main overworld of the game. This is a town, the town of Cornelia, so we're just gonna turn around and talk to this knight who's blocking the exit. The king is searching for the prophesied warriors of light. Those crystals! You must see the king at once! Okay. Oh wow, you weren't kidding. I thought we were gonna have to go and talk to him. Alright. So the king welcomes us into his town of Cornelia and asks to see our light warrior membership cards, these crystals that we brought with us. And he mentions this prophecy again. When darkness fails the world, 4 warriors of light shall come. Alright, so it looks like the king is pretty trusting of us. The chancellor, on the other hand, is not so trusting. I haven't seen the ending of this game. I don't know how all this plays out. I haven't seen the ending to this version or to the original, so I'm just gonna go ahead and call it right now. The chancellor is the big bad here. The chancellor is the one who's causing all of this bullshit. You know, it's always the right-hand man. Look, the Jafar from Aladdin, Jafar from Prince of Persia, Chancellor Cole from Spirit Tracks, Legend of Zelda. You know, it's always the Chancellor. They're never to be trusted. They're always trying to gain some power here. So, anyway, back to Final Fantasy. Garland, who apparently was, you know, some captain of the guard here in Cornelia, I guess, has kidnapped the princess Sarah. They've sent in a whole bunch of people to try and rescue her, but to no avail because he's the finest swordsman in the land. So basically, in order to prove our worth, we have to go and rescue the princess against this guy who's killed probably half the Cornelian army already. So, we're gonna do that, and in order to thank us, the king has promised to rebuild the bridge if we can bring the princess back safely. So, let's go. Warriors of Light. Woo! This is gonna be fun. Alright, I don't know a whole hell of a lot about the Final Fantasy series, but one thing I do know from watching Paper Napkin's Let's Play of the original game is that you should go around and talk to everybody and get as much information as you can. So we're going to go ahead and leave the castle, because I know for a fact that nobody here is going to tell us anything we don't already know. So, let's just go ahead... I'm sorry. Let's leave the castle. Let's go back into the town of Cornelia. Let's talk to some people, check some buildings, and see what we can do. Right here we have an inn, which is the best place to restore your party to full HP and MP, but that doesn't cure status ailments like poison, unfortunately. Right here we have the weapons shop. Let's go ahead and buy a couple of these weapons. 2 rapiers, I think, for my 2 attacking classes. And then let's go ahead and buy a hammer for our white mage, and then we can just move her weapon over to the black mage. Let's see, equipment. You can change the equipment for your party members manually by going here and then just basically hitting the A button. Or you can hit optimal, and it will automatically give them the best layout out of your available equipment. Obviously, if there's some advantage to doing it manually because there are some weapons and armor that have effects that are sort of a trade-off for lower stats. So let's go ahead and buy 2 sets of chainmail, because I know my red mage at least is gonna need it. In my other run of this, he's been dying a lot, because like I said, they only have sort of a moderate defense, and putting them in the second slot leaves them open to a lot of hits. So back to the equipment. Let's see now. Optimal. The thing about the mages is that they can't wear a whole lot of the armor, so you're gonna have to find some alternate method of protection for them. For now, we're just going to have to leave them vulnerable. It's not like there are any really hard-hitting attacks. That was the armor shop, by the way. I'm pretty sure I didn't mention it, though you could have guessed for yourself. Here's the white magic shop. As I said before, the red mage can learn a wide variety of spells, though it learns the higher level ones at a sort of a slower rate than the straight-up white and black mages. First things first, we're going to go ahead and buy Cure for our white mage. I think we'll leave the red mage as unlearned for now. Let's go into the black magic shop and see if we can buy some attacking spells for our black mage here. Yep, we'll just teach him fire right now. And that's gonna be all for now. I think, yeah, I'll have you guys let me know which spells you think I should pick up before I go and buy anything else. I think that's a good, 2 spells to learn beforehand. Get out of the way, damn it. This in here is the Sanctuary. If you lose any party members and you don't have any revival spells or Phoenix Downs handy, then you can just go there and get them revived for a price. And in here is the item shop, which has a lot of healing potions and Phoenix Downs and sleeping bags and things of that nature. I'm not going to explain a whole lot of the items or equipment because, well, the game sort of does it for you. I'm going to go ahead and buy... I think just 1 sleeping bag. I don't think I'll need potions yet since we have Cure and we can only just come back, but I'll buy a couple antidotes. And then I think that's going to be all for now. Let's talk to some people. Harbor City of Pravica. Okay, so Pravica, it's good to keep that in mind. Maybe we should head there after we sort out all this madness. Please rescue Lady Sarah. I'm on it. I'm on it, I promise. What about you? Don't run away from me. Okay, you're just a dancer. I think that's code for hooker. Well, we're the Light Warriors, and we will save the princess, so Lucan's prophecy is probably pretty accurate. What about you, back here? What do you have to say? Something about finding the crescent moon. Alright, and we should probably keep that in mind as well. There's no exit out there. There's another knight right here, and he's being an asshole. Restore the crystals to Grace. I will. That's a well. It looks like you could climb inside, but you can't, really. Aw, man. Oh well. Alright, well, get out of the way, you hooker. Let's go. We got a fountain here. Wow. This game is pretty snarky. I wasn't expecting that. Alright, well, now that we're all stocked up on our weapons and equipment for now, and spells, of course, let's go ahead and rush out and get into some trouble. Obviously, we've got some goblins here. These are the Goombas of this game, basically. They're your standard low-level mooks. There's not a whole lot to be said about them. Looks like Randall got a critical hit there. When the screen flashes like that, that's an indication you got a critical hit. So, that's good. I'm not gonna even try to explain the stats because I don't even totally know what the hell they do. So, besides, odds are that you guys know what they do better than I do anyway. Here we have a Goblin Guard, which is a sort of stronger version of the Goblin. Not a whole lot stronger. They have a little bit higher HP, but otherwise, you know, they're basically the same. Wow, I'm just running into all kinds of these lately. I'm definitely going to be cutting out a lot of these battles because, again, it's just going to be more of the same. One thing that I do like about this version as opposed to the original version is that this version has an auto-target. As most of you know, in the original game, if you aimed more than one person at a certain enemy, then if one of them took it out, then the other person would just sort of aim at the empty space where that enemy used to be rather than aiming at a new enemy. That was fixed in this version, fortunately, and we have a level up already, so that puts us at level 2. They're really, you know, there's not a whole hell of a lot else that we can do. Here's some more goblins. I think this is actually a good stopping point. I'm going to finish this battle, and then I'm going to cut it off here, I think. So, thank you all very much for watching. Be sure to keep in mind to leave some comments telling me which spells I should pick up for which of my mages. That's really it for right now. Obviously we have to go to the Chaos Shrine and take it down Garland, so go ahead and leave me some suggestions for how much grinding, if any at this point, I should do to give myself a good challenge against Garland. I know he's pretty easy to take down, but, well, it's up to you guys how easy it'll be. So, thank you all for watching. I've been KirbyViper93, and I'll see you guys in the next episode of Let's Play Final Fantasy.